Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be. Marty. That is all you need, I think. Okay, what happened here? I was trying to send out the show, and I got a bunch of anime pictures on my screen. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Good morning. How you doing? It's Monday. I'm back in the saddle again, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad you're here too. Some of you are here quite bright and early, and I'm happy about that. Also happy that I had a pretty good weekend, although I had to I ended up deleting my streams from this weekend just for a couple reasons that are up close and personal, and just no major scandal or thing like that. But I just if you're wondering what happened to those, we did a trail stop stream on Saturday, and then continued it from the pool, and there were no naughty bits shown or anything, but we did have to. I just had to. It was just personal reasons. So anyway, plus I think I might have doxed myself too, but I guess I don't know, but that's okay. I hope you all had a good weekend. Like I said, I did. It was really relaxing, and especially when you have nothing to do. It's the first weekend in 5 weeks that I had no plan, and that was actually really, really different. I'm not used to that. It's been a while since I've had a week like that. By the way, it is not, let's see. Oh, I can fix this now that I'm here. It is not open mic day, just FYI. And I'm going to turn off that timer right now to make sure that we don't keep putting that up on the screen. So anyway, we're going to get caught up over the weekend stuff. Although there's one item in particular that really, really got under my skin. Not under my skin, but just has me going, what the hell did he just say? It made completely no sense. And we'll get to that after we get the intro. After we get to the intro, and after we say good morning, everybody. So let's start with the intro. Johnny, play the intro, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. All right, stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is the 631st episode on July 26, 2021. It is Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. People strolling in slowly but surely. I think it's hard to tell. There's not that many here. I'm trying to figure out if my notifications didn't go out. I know I did send out all the notifications on the various social media networks that I am on, which is what I use most of them for, although I am active on Twitter and a little bit on Minds, not a ton. But if you want to follow me on those, you can go to PDawgKnight or at PDawgKnight just about on anything except for Instagram. On Instagram, I am, yes, that Marty, but on Instagram, it's pretty much just flowers and animals and nature and things that we go see. So anyway, good morning. Like I said, I hope you had a good weekend. Like I said, mentioned in the intro or the preview or whatever you call that before the intro, I did have very little to do this weekend, and that was kind of a good thing. So we did a trail stop stream on Saturday and then continued it at the pool. And also did some and then yesterday I literally watched TV, hung out in my backyard. I painted a door, which was kind of a project that was a not so urgent project, but just one that I wanted to do. We were going to repaint our front door, changing it from a bluish color to a greenish color, because we wanted a little bit of contrast with the siding that we put on last year. We never changed that, so there we did. So I yeah, that was it. I'm curious what you did this weekend. If you did anything fun, did anything interesting. Hope it was a good weekend. What is going on here? I got something going on back. Oh, I never closed that window, and that's why. I'm just curious what happened there. So anyway, the big there's all kinds of news over the weekend. I see Gunfox mentioning the 25th Amendment. Yeah, Joe. Oh boy. People reacting to his town hall, and boy, because that I didn't really do much of that town hall, but it was fairly disastrous if you ask me. The man clearly is not clicking on all of his cylinders, and but what's funny is if you watched the news over the weekend, particularly the alphabet soup media, the Mockingbird media, the Democratic establishment, authoritative media, you would think that perhaps Joe Biden was not president of the United States in some ways, or at least, especially on that channel that really made their name and made their dollar over the last 4 or 5 years. CNN. This is CNN. They had an interview there's an interview on everyone's favorite show, Reliable Sources with Brian Stelter, that just kind of threw me. And it's funny because I was watching Randy Monkey this morning, and he was mentioning the beginning of the interview where Brian Stelter made himself a clinical psychologist, but I'm thinking of the part of the interview where he started talking to Carl Bernstein, and even Carl Bernstein's words seemed to surprise Brian Stelter a little bit. So we'll watch a little bit of that interview, and then I just have a whole bunch of news items to get caught on over the weekend. There's a ton in the Discord too. If you get a chance, go on the Discord server. There's a ton. Go on the news tab. There's tons of news in there. We'll touch on several items, and then we'll call it a day. So before we do that, though, I want to say good morning to the people who made it to the chat early, and thank you for being here. Good morning first. Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. Oh, look. Every time I forget something. Hang on a second. There is one minor little thing I got to do here that I haven't done. Potential spam. I don't want to hear about that. Let's see here. Let's make sure that I mute this. Fix this. Plug it in. And click. And volume's good. All right. Let's say good morning to the people in the chat. First in the chat today with Jonathan is Jonathan Peterson. You get the bell, and everyone's excited that you are here. Thank you for being here, sir. Also, good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg, and Gunfox61, who is the administrator extraordinaire on our Discord server. Also, good morning, Not Provided. What's happening? Also, good morning, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. The Asian Research Directorate is in the house. Good morning to you, too. Good morning to Dumb Beard. And I saw HP Lovecraft in the house. Nice to see you. And that's everyone in the chat. I know there's a bunch of other people here because it's I see the numbers on the side here. So if you're just lurking, working, driving, or thriving, please do not jeopardize your life and limb by looking away and trying to chat while you're driving or working with heavy machinery. So I do have my cup of reparations in hand. It is a Jamaican mountain blend, and it's very good. It's in my Trail Stop cup. This is the Trail Stop Tavern cup. They gave me one because we're such good patrons of theirs. And in fact, this one has the we were there this weekend for your famous Pour Your Own Bloody Mary bar. And not only, it's not just, you don't just pour your mix, you pour the whole damn thing. They give you a glass of ice and a couple garnishes, and they got a big table of vodkas and big table of Bloody Mary mixes. You pour your own. So you got to be careful when you do that, though, because some people think, oh, this is a time for me to really load it up. And then you get a couple Bloody Marys and you're like, you're asleep at the bar. So that's never happened to me. I, being the longtime professional bartender that I was in my early 20s, am very good at pouring a very, very good Bloody Mary. Anyway, also good morning, James PFP. Nice to see you. Good morning, sir. Also good morning, Broken Word. Word up. Well, it's a total thing when you hear. Okay, I can't even remember the songs to Word Up, but that's a good 80s hanging out in the bar dance club tune. Word Up by Cameo. I love that song. Anyway, that was a big hit. All right, Joe Biden is officially a member of the Wiped. Is he now? Was Joe Biden wiped? Okay, that could be. Anyway, so let's get into this news. I want to start. This one's going to take up more time than I want, so most of the news items that I'm going to catch up on are just going to have to be in the tabs in the link that I put in the description below this video. Everything we do, every show is in a single link called a one-tab link after the first paragraph of the description. So you can find, if you want to find some of the stuff we're looking at, or if you're writing a blog or making videos yourself, you certainly can find those articles, everything we do there. So Brian Stelter has this show called Reliable Sources, which is, when it's on CNN, that's kind of an oxymoron. But the one thing that jumped out, and I'll show you this is from the Twitter feed, because this is where Brian seemed a little flummoxed. Let's just show this clip. I'm not going to show the thing. I'll have the whole interview in that link that has all the sources that we have today. But let's go to this part that really raised some eyebrows. Okay, so here's hang on. Let's pause that. Because this is fascinating. I don't even know. Now, Carl Bernstein's getting up there in age, and I'm beginning to think he's as senile as Joe Biden. But maybe not. But let's take a look at this, because this is the part that raised eyebrows. Brian Stelter started out with this segment talking about psychology and psychiatry and whatever, and how basically diagnosing Donald J. Trump as a narcissist, right? And so that's why he brought on Carl Bernstein. And you just be the judge. Good morning, Don Julio, by the way. Here, you be the judge.
Heading.
But this is the part that caught everyone's ears, because this is a fascinating statement by Carl Bernstein.
Well, I think we need to slow down a bit and deconstruct some of the things that you've just laid out there. The first thing is, I'm not a psychiatrist, because Brian started out with psychiatry. Maybe should we start this from the beginning? Do you want to see the whole thing, or do you just want to see this clip? Well, let's just show this clip first. God knows, all of us may have a degree of narcissism, but when we're talking about Trump, we're obviously talking about a kind of delusional madness, such as General Milley was talking about, that is on a scale and a scope that we have never experienced in an American president in our history. I think.
Now, are you kidding me? I think every president has a strain of narcissism. However, and in fact, I would say the president who preceded the guy with the funny hair probably was the most narcissistic person I've ever seen in my life. Now, the problem or the difference is that particular president had an entire media that loved him and couldn't see it. But if you spent any time, even if you could have been a fan of that particular president, but had an objective eye, you would have seen how incredibly narcissistic he was. So Carl Bernstein can't see it because Carl Bernstein was a sycophant of that particular president versus the president with the funny hair. All right, let me continue this.
We need to calmly step back and maybe look at Trump in a different context.
What context might that be, Carl Bernstein? What context might that be?
America's our own American war criminal.
Wait. You got to hear that again. You got to hear it again.
Different context. He is America's our own American war criminal.
War criminal. War criminal. He just described President Trump as our own American war criminal. Now, even Brian seems a little bit surprised by these words, as you will see.
Of a kind we've never experienced before.
You just said war. You just said war criminal. What do you mean, war criminal?
I did. Well, in international law, there have been, quote, crimes against...
War criminal. First of all, that words have meaning. Words have meaning. And regardless of what you might think about the president, maybe he's talking about his handling of COVID, which I'm sorry. His handling of COVID was no different than any other government's handling of COVID, as far as I'm concerned. But what war? Yes, James, exactly. What war are we talking about, Carl Bernstein? Please elaborate.
Humanity. I think what we're talking about, Trump's crimes as an American war criminal in his own country, that he has perpetrated
crimes. Tell us, what crimes are you talking about, you crusty beast?
Upon our people, including the tens of thousands of people who died because of his homicidal negligence in the pandemic, putting his own electoral interests above the health of our people as they were slaughtered in this pandemic.
His own homicidal negligence? You mean listening to Dr. Fauci and doing whatever Dr. Fauci recommended? Was that his homicidal negligence? What in the bloody hell are you talking about? Oh my God.
Looking at his actions in terms of fomenting a coup to hold on to office in which they...
Fomenting a coup. I thought, did he mean insurrection? Is that what he meant? And, oh my God. So, people protesting, wanting votes counted, amounted to him fomenting a coup? Oh my God.
Head of the American military, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has now compared Trump, not the press, not reporters comparing Trump to Hitler, but rather the head of the American military comparing him and his movement to brown shirts, to the Reichstag.
Oh, my God. Oh, wait. Now listen to this. To the Reichstag fire.
This is a huge wake-up call to this country when General Milley, the head of the American military, has said this. And it fits as a piece with something so extraordinary in our history. It's not political. Trump is not just political. He transcends the political, and we need to start looking at his crimes in that context.
I'm sorry, you haven't named a crime yet. You have not named a single crime. Because, look, I don't care what you say about that January 6th. That was not Trump fomenting a coup. I am just flabbergasted. One, that he would say Trump's war crimes. Okay, war crimes are very specific things. But what Bernstein here is trying to say is that Trump was committing crimes against Americans and calling him a war criminal. It's just insanity. Now, I'm looking on Twitter here. There's some people here talking about this. One put up a graphic with Rachel Maddow's face on it. Trump had to pardon his campaign manager, his campaign chairman, his campaign manager, his longest-standing political advisor, his national security advisor, and deputy chair of his inaugural committee. Well, yeah, because they came in and tried to destroy anyone related to Trump with bullshit that had nothing to do with. Oh my God. His personal lawyer went to prison. His other personal lawyer is under a criminal investigation. He himself is personally named by prosecutors as an unindicted co-conspirator in multiple federal felonies. Is he now? Oh, and he's personally currently actively under criminal investigation in 2 different states. Yeah, you let it all sink in. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, that they want to destroy him. Notice how they haven't found anything that he actually did that was illegal, but they tried to destroy everyone around him. Someone down here, disappointing to see this, unhinged, untrue for the man who exposed the greatest political scandal of our time. It's a poor exercise on truth and objectivity. George H.W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon don't exist. I don't know what he must be. Oh, I see. And it's funny. Now, this guy doesn't name any Democrats. You don't think Bill Clinton bombing an aspirin factory might have been a sort of a war crime? You don't think Barack Obama, the most prolific user of predator drone strikes of any president ever, may have committed? If you're going to call them war crimes, don't just look at one side. And then there's someone here with malignant narcissism. Because what Stelter started out this whole article with was talking about. He started out with narcissism. Here's how Stelter started this. Hang on.
Narcissism is a personality disorder. It is not a term to throw around lightly. It's a serious.
Yes, it can be. It is a personality disorder, and I think a lot of people have it. And do I think Trump's a narcissist? Sure, he is. Just like many people in power are narcissists. I think Elon Musk is a bit of a narcissist. I think sometimes Brian Stelter is certainly a narcissist. I think Jeff Bezos is a narcissist. A lot of very powerful people think that they are. Jim Acosta, narcissist. People who think that they are the one always in the right, and but anyway, listen to
serious thing. It exists in the realm of psychology, not politics.
Oh, but
sometimes the only way to understand politics is through psychology.
Okay, Brian, are you a psychologist? I don't know. I wonder what your undergrad degree is. I'm curious. Good morning, Gamer Valine. How you doing, hon? Nice to see you. Also, Lord Stanhope, what's up? Nice to see you all coming in today. Anyway, that's what they were there to talk about. But then Bernstein threw Stelter a curveball. Who else did you have on here? Oh, he used some clips of Trump and whatnot. Anyway, I'll leave this interview in the tabs, but I'm not going to spend any more time on it. But that is breathtaking statement by Carl Bernstein. And it's funny because there's so many people on like Twitter. Oh, he's a war criminal. Biggest blunder in history will be not prosecuting Trump. Really? What do you have to prosecute him for? That's just it. They want to prosecute him. They're trying everything they can to try to prosecute him, and they haven't been able to. Why? Because they got nothing. Like that whole, everything that the Mueller investigation came up with, where they came up short on just about everything, even though they tried to make it sound like, oh yes, well, he seems to have done this and this and this, but this is not something that we can prosecute him for. Well, because you can't prosecute him for, because you can't prove anything because there's no evidence. So anyway, it is breathtaking, I got to tell you. By the way, 24 in the room, hit the like button, and you are the sponsor of the show. Share the show. That's a great way to sponsor the show. Hitting the like button, putting a comment in the comment section. Those are also great ways to sponsor the show. Or if you can, throw a couple bucks in the tip jar during the show, and you can put your message, do it that through Streamlabs or YouTube Super Chat. Obviously, we read messages on this show, and off hours, you can use Streamlabs, Venmo, Cashapp, or anything if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show. And I will always. I've never had anyone do a donation through Cashapp or Venmo, even though I have it there available. But I will read your message on the next show if you happen to do it that way. Good morning, People's Front of Canada. Anyway, because he hasn't broken any laws. Yeah, you got to name the law he broke just before you got to find a law he broke before you can prosecute him, and that's a problem. Now, speaking of people who may well or may not have broken any laws, there is a certain doctor. You know who that is, who was also on CNN this weekend. And interesting interview with Jake Tapper, because, you know, last week, one of the big news with Dr. Anthony Fauci was that he was talking about how they weren't funding coronavirus, or they weren't funding gain of research funding at the Wuhan laboratory. Okay. Now, if you go back to some prior exchanges that he had with Dr. Rand Paul, he also said that they weren't. First of all, they weren't funding. The National Institute of Health never funded gain of function research. Then they were saying that he kind of hinted that they hadn't done any funding of research at the Wuhan lab. But then then he got very specific that they've never funded gain of research. Then the last brush up they were saying that, Rand Paul was showing the paper trail. Yes, you were. This is your definition of gain of function research. This is what they were funding at the Wuhan lab, and that is gain of function research. So you were funding gain of function research. Excuse me. And he says, no, well, we didn't do that. We did not fund gain of function research. So then he goes on, this is CNN. On Sunday, on what's Jake Tapper's show? I can't even remember. Whatever the hell it's in the article here. Well, Dr. Fauci now defends U.S. funding of coronavirus research at the Wuhan lab on Jake Tapper's show. Dr. Anthony Fauci on Sunday defended the U.S. giving hundreds of thousands of dollars for research at a Wuhan lab studying whether bat coronaviruses could be transmitted to humans, saying it would have been negligent not to do so. Wait a minute. Didn't he say they weren't studying this? I'm confused. He said it was a proposal that was peer-reviewed and given a very high rating for the importance of why it should be done, Fauci told CNN anchor Jake Tapper on State of the Union. The proposal was to be able to go and do a survey of what was going on among the bat population, because everyone in the world was trying to figure out what the original source of the original SARS-CoV-1 was. He continued. The National Institute of Health earmarked $600,000 for a nonprofit linked to Wuhan Institute of Virology, which has been at the center of lab leak theories about the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, what is amazingly fascinating about that is because we knew, or he knew, he's known all along, that the National Institute of Health was dealing with this particular lab that was dealing with bat coronaviruses, and we suddenly have a bat coronavirus wreaking havoc around the world. But and so when the whole idea that there might have been a lab leak, and you please, Anthony Fauci in the beginning, I know nothing, I say nothing, I do nothing. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, we were funding a lab in Wuhan, China that just happens to be the place of origin that shall not be named of the stupid 19, and that this lab where they were studying bat coronaviruses. What a coincidence. Why did we hear this a year ago? Why did we not hear this a year ago? I'm just wondering. You know, it's funny because didn't the Chinese say something to the effect that it might have, they said it might have originated in the United States. Well, maybe the funding did. I don't know. Good morning, Dawg. Hard to believe that Mike Rowe and Brian Stelter went to the same college. Oh my God, is that true? I did not know that. And there's a video on Discord DMs to watch. Oh wait, all right, we'll check that out. Fauci, who's the head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, argued that it was necessary to pursue the research. It was almost as if you don't pursue that research, you would be negligent because you were trying to find out how you could prevent this from happening again. Fauci said, well, how you could prevent it? Well, seems like you failed miserably. If that was the purpose of the research, good Lord, man. Fauci added that it was critical that the research occurred in China since that's where SARS first emerged. Oh, is that the reason? Or is it because you were no longer allowed to do that type of research in the United States because it's gain-of-function research? It was critical that the research occurred in China since that's where SARS first emerged. Really? So you couldn't... you couldn't research it here or in France or in Belgium or in Timbuktu or Australia. It was critical to research it there. That's funny. I heard they could move those samples anywhere they wanted all around the world. I just don't know. But, oh, wait a minute. Yes, you are correct, Renee Mayette.
China is asshole.
Yes, you are correct. Good morning, by the way. Hello, Maddie, also. Oh, boy. That's fascinating. If we were to start to look at bats in Secaucus, New Jersey, or Fairfax County, Virginia, it wouldn't contribute very much to the standing of where SARS-CoV-1 originated, Fauci said. That little garden gnome motherfucker, Terror Dome. Welcome to the Terror Dome. But remember now, but it wasn't gain-of-function research. You are lying, Dr. Paul. If anybody's lying, it's you. You motherfucker. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, all right, let me see if I can figure this out real quick. If I can't, I can't. Okay, got it. Where are my, oh shoot, I have so much in this inbox, I can't. Okay, hang on. Is it the one, okay, is it, Gunfox, is it the one about the Biden nomination for, I don't know what this is. I'm not very good at this. I got to figure out how. Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind on my DMs. Okay, I can't do that right now. I'll look it up and see if we can do it tomorrow. Anyway, so let's just get through some of the news today, okay? Because it's just there's a plethora. I got to tell you. By the way, hit the like button if you're thinking about it. Yeah, old Carl Bernstein. Holy shit, war criminal. I am fascinated by that. I'm fascinated about the Terror Gnome telling us that, oh yes, now at least he's confirming it, because there's not like we didn't already know, there's a giant paper trail knowing that they were funding this research in China, and so now he's finally admitting that they were funding the research. I wonder what he'll admit to next. Good morning, James Colley, my friend. Nice to see you. All right, let's keep going. Now let's just get through a whole bunch of headlines, because I got tons. This is interesting. Nancy Pelosi, everyone's favorite grandma, has decided to appoint another Republican to the January 6th Select Committee after she decided that Representative Jim Jordan and was it Jim Banks, or what's his Banks' first name, that they would not be accepted to that committee. Of course, there's a reason, because she may have had some shenanigans going on herself. But anyway, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on Sunday's ABC This Week that she planned to appoint Representative Adam Kinzinger, Rhino from Illinois, to the House Select Committee investigating the Capitol riots. Pelosi said, "We have to work with our bipartisan committee that we now have, Select Committee led by Chairman Thompson, bipartisan participation with a very courageous Congresswoman Liz Cheney. My confidence is high. I believe the work of this committee, in order to retain the confidence of the American people, must act in a way that has no partisanship, is all about patriotism." I'm sorry. I'm very proud of the members of this committee. Here, let's see. Let's let her slur through it. Maybe. Nope. Ad. Get off my screen, ad. Video resume in 20 seconds. I'm not waiting 20 seconds for this crap. Anyway, here, let's pause that. So, and then so this is with George Stephanopoulos, who anchors George Stephanopoulos, said, "Will you be appointing more Republicans to the committee like Congressman Adam Kinzinger?" "That would be my plan. When will that be announced?" "Perhaps after I speak to Adam Kinzinger." You could say that's the direction I would be going. He and other Republicans have expressed an interest to serve on the Select Committee. I would appoint 3 of the members that Leader McCarthy suggested, but he withdrew their names. The 2 that I would not appoint are people who would jeopardize the integrity of the investigation. Yeah, they would ask too many questions about Nancy Pelosi herself. Good morning, Jaden Emerald, and also the Bosch Tube. She would. Here's her problem, and I'll go to this Divine article from the New York Post. Nancy Pelosi used to point her angry finger at Donald Trump, but she leaves him in the dust when it comes to busting norms, dividing Congress, and causing mayhem. If anyone is to blame for hyperpartisanship in Washington these days, it's the spiteful House Speaker. She behaves more like a mafia don waging a gang war than a dignified, fair, honest presiding officer, which is what the Speaker's role requires. Pelosi abuses her power in ways that were once unthinkable. Her speakership has been the antithesis of Lincoln's entreaty to the better angels of our nature. Everyone in Congress, and by extension the nation, has been sullied by the spite and vitriol she has injected into the political sphere. There's no grace or Christian charity, just the barren wasteland of zero-sum game, power for power's sake. It's made all the worse by her increasingly frantic claims to be a devout Catholic. The fact that all this venom is packaged into the shape of a small, elderly, expensively shod woman is bestowed upon her an element of deference to her actions do not deserve. But last week, there were a couple signs that she's finally worn out her welcome. One was her game playing over the January 6th committee, when she arbitrarily rejected 2 Republicans, Jim Jordan of Ohio and Jim Banks of Indiana, from an already stacked panel. She claimed integrity required her veto since the 2 Republicans had made statements and taken actions that I think would impact the integrity of the committee. This committee that includes such models of integrity as Adam Schiff, Steele dossier. Pelosi is scared that Jordan and Banks, even though she has the majority, that's the real reason, or she's afraid of them. She's afraid they will bring to the committee on behalf of the American people it is supposed to represent the very reasonable question about, and this is where I was going, her own culpability in the events on January 6th. Most obviously, what was her reason for leaving the Capitol Police outnumbered and unprotected? Jordan and Banks wanted to ask why Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund's request for the National Guard to buttress his troop was denied. Why were his repeated requests to the Sergeant of Arms, who answers directly to Pelosi, rebuffed? We're talking about repeated requests from 2 days before the riots to hours after the Capitol was breached. Why did she blame Sund and force him to resign hours after the riot and then lie the next day when she claimed he hadn't bothered phoning her? It kind of stinks. Pelosi's not interested in an investigation. She's only interested in a narrative, Banks told Fox News Sunday. And there's the rub. There were multiple requests for additional reinforcements before and during the so-called insurrection. And that was to the Sergeant at Arms of the House of Representatives, who reports to Nancy Pelosi. So why wouldn't she? So she certainly doesn't want anyone asking those questions. Now, I wonder, will Liz Cheney ask those questions? Will Adam Kinzinger ask those questions? Will anyone on that? See, no one else in that committee is going to answer a question that Nancy Pelosi doesn't want them to ask. Thompson, the chairman of this select committee, is afraid of Nancy Pelosi. I guarantee it. Here, let's continue in this article. Once you go to the top of the flagpole of who's in charge of the Capitol Police, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, has more control and authority and responsibility over the leadership of the Capitol Police than anyone else in the United States Capitol. So she doesn't want us to ask these questions because at the end of the day, she is ultimately responsible for the breakdown of security at the Capitol that happened on January 6th. Because they wanted it to happen. This was an op. These are questions that would be asked by a bipartisan committee in search of the truth, but the truth to Pelosi is like a cross to a vampire. Excuse me, I coughed my way through that. Hang on a second. But the truth to Pelosi is like a cross to a vampire. Are we sure that she's not a vampire too? She says she's a Catholic, but I've never seen her wearing a crucifix. Anyway, another question for the committee would be whether the shooting of Ashley Babbitt by a Capitol officer was justified. It also could examine the very real and documented inhumane treatment of January 6th suspects who are not charged with violent offenses but who remain in jail without trial just down the hill from Congress, many in solitary confinement now for the 7th month. That's ridiculous. If they're not being charged with violent felonies, although here's the thing, some of them have been charged with felonies, and there's a very specific strategy behind that. In fact, one of the recent people who has pled guilty to one of those felonies, and I'm not sure why his lawyers allowed him to do that. Anyway, you can read the rest of that editorial on her. Thank you, Teresa the Kid. Thank you so much for being this first sponsor of the day with the big smiley facey sunglass dude there. I appreciate that. No message, but I do appreciate you sponsoring the show. You are awesome. All right, let's keep going here because I got a whole bunch to get through and not enough time to do it. In Rhode Island, parents are seeing red and rising up against CRT, aka critical race theory. For the past year, the left has vigorously denied that critical race theory was a real phenomenon in America's government-run public schools. According to their narrative, CRT was fake news, nothing more than right-wing propaganda. However, here in Rhode Island, following suit, state education officials and local school committee members, as well as their defenders in the media, also publicly denied that CRT was being taught in local school districts. In trying to obfuscate the truth, the critical theorist openly admit that they are all about diversity, seeking to end the systemic racism they imagine is present in their schools, yet they are unable to produce any concrete examples and are unwilling to answer more specific curriculum questions from parents. But in early July, 2 major national teacher unions blew the left's cover, openly admitting and even doubling down on their desire to see divisive race theories advanced in K-12 education, a zeal that includes researching and harassing, potentially even taking legal action against organizations that challenge the indoctrination of students with racial stereotyping. The malicious cat we all knew was there was let out of the bag. In the town of South Kingston, a local school committee publicly threatened to file a lawsuit against a mother, Nicole Salas, who allegedly filed too many open records requests. See, that's the thing. They don't want their records open. They don't want these what do you call it? FOIA requests, because that's the new battle. If you want to know what's going on, you need to do a FOIA request. In the Chariho regional district, a black father who spoke out against CRT was led out of the local school board meeting in handcuffs, ostensibly for not wearing a mask. In the town of Westerly, a resident who dared to submit a resolution to ban the teaching of racial equity principles became the victim of a pre-orchestrated public meeting hit job by the local teachers union in conjunction with brainwashed students and other race theorists, all sanctioned by the superintendent and the school committee chair. And it's indeed here in Blue, Rhode Island, parents are seeing red. They have had enough, and they are rising up to defend their parental rights by organizing their own local groups and challenging school officials. And it's not just about radical race theories. It's a revolt against the entire pervasive woke agenda. Parents are further outraged that many non-science-based and overbearing COVID-19 protocols and mandates, the gender equity agenda, as well as at over-sexualization of their children in public schools. In one example, the Rhode Island Department of Health illegally declared that high school students aged 16 through 18 were emancipated from their parents and could unilaterally choose to get the jab at one of the hastily assembled school-based vaccine clinics. Students would be subjected to coercion from school teachers and staff and pressured from their peers, but away from the influence of their parents. That is not good. I'm going to see what the video, there was a related video here. Mom demands answers about critical race theory. Here we go. This is one of the moms in Rhode Island. And this is one of the ones who got in trouble here.
No. Yeah, it was on the phone. I think we all know my name. It's on the agenda. And I'm not stating my address. We all know I live in Wakefield.
Just continue.
Guys, let's not speak and let's get through this. We want to hear what everybody has to say, please. I am a mother with a child enrolled in the district, going into kindergarten. I had questions about her education, and you didn't answer them. You told me to submit public record requests to answer my questions. I did what you.
I'll just pause it for this because I know that it's a little bit challenging to hear it over the music. Thank you, Chicago. Mike with the bullet, 556, says, hi, everyone, back from vacation in Florida. Hope everyone is doing well. Mike, we are glad you're back safe and sound. I hope you had a great vacation. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And
you are the new Streamlabs
Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. So this woman, first, you didn't want to give her name and address. And it's funny because someone in the crowd's like, they asked for your address. Well, you know what? Maybe you don't need to know my address. How about, and they didn't know her name, but this is the woman that they were complaining about doing the records request. So let's hear the rest of her talking to the school board here.
You told me. And now you're holding a public meeting to discuss suing me for doing what you told me to do. This meeting.
Yeah, they put her on the school board agenda. If you didn't hear that, so they put this woman because she was asking for records requests because they wouldn't give her information. She said you can put a request in for records request. So she put in records requests, FOIA requests for the school board, and now they put her on the agenda wanting to sue her for putting in records requests.
Was meant to publicly humiliate me. And it didn't work.
These people are clapping because it did. Oh, it didn't work, she said.
I want to talk about the statement you issued today. It was replete with critical race verbiage, such as equity, which raises serious concerns about CRT in the district. Equity is CRT code word for discrimination based on race. The school committee should focus on equality, treating students without regard to race. Why is the school committee so obsessed with treating students based on their skin color? We need answers to that, not lawsuits against parents.
Ding. All right, I there you go. So anyway, that's what she was dealing with the school board. Anyway, good morning, Brutus. How you doing? Nice to see you. I see you there. All right, let's move on. So that article's in there if you want to read more about that. Also from Legal Insurrection, if this ever pops up. This is this. I must have accidentally opened this one twice, so I'll close that. Let's see. Now let's go to Detroit. We're just going to go around the country a little bit because in Detroit, Black Detroit residents are far more worried about crime than police reform. Now, by the way, the interesting. I think the Detroit Police Department, like many places in the country, have had pressure to lower their budgets and whatnot, but I think they've held fast, and the police chief in Detroit has had some success on not having a major wave of crime. I'm not sure. Let's just read this article. New USA Today Suffolk University Detroit Free Press poll finds that Detroit residents are far more concerned about public safety than they are about police reform. By a staggering 9-1 margin, residents say they would feel safer with more cops on the street, not fewer, and by 3-1 margin, reject the idea of defunding the police. Detroit is a city that's 79% black, which underscores the idea that the issue of public safety is not a racial issue. The importance of police reform in the black community may be oversold. White Detroit residents were far more likely to name reforming police as a major issue, according to the poll, woke white people. And there were differences in emphasis on reform between black men and women. Black men were twice as likely as black women to report having been stopped and questioned by police investigating crimes, 38% compared with 17%. What's more, black men were twice as likely than black women to say they weren't satisfied with how police handled an encounter, 46% compared with 20%. You have some good cops and then you have some bad ones. Derek Wilson, 52, who also goes by the name DJ Raw, said in a follow-up interview, at times some of those surveyed said they had seen racial profiling in the approach police took toward them personally, towards their neighbors in general. Now that's fascinating. So in Detroit, okay, let me think about this. The city is 79% black people, which brings me to the question: how would you know if it was racial profiling? I'm just curious. How would you know? And if it's 79% black, you'd assume that the police forces would at least be somewhat similar demographically black than white. How would you know if it's racial profiling in a city of 79% black people? I don't know. They just assume if you stop a black person, it's automatically racial profiling? That's my question. Just a question, right? You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
Anyway, the Detroit poll poll was one of a series of USA Today surveys called City View, looking at attitudes toward police crime and police reform. A poll taken last month of Milwaukee residents found most were dissatisfied with the job their police department was doing. Okay, but Detroit residents' concern are more basic, given that the threat to ordinary people just leaving the house. In Detroit, 1 in 5 residents cited public safety as the biggest issue facing the city, second only to education, named by 23% on a list of 8 concerns. Police reform ranked last at 4%. The poll found a significant racial divide on the issue. Black residents ranked crime at the top of their list of concerns. 24% cited public safety, just 3% police reform. But white residents were a bit more concerned about police reform than public safety, 12% compared with 10%. That's because they were scared to answer any other way. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. Education was by far the biggest issue in their mind, named by 31%. Well, that was said. They said education was number 1 for both. It's scary sitting in the house, and when you go outside to the gas station or the store, it's possible someone will be shooting right next to you. Carlita Bell told USA Today. Anyway, so yeah, that's interesting though, that the black residents are more worried about crime than white people, and they're 79% of the population. But I'm still confused. How the hell? If a black person gets stopped in Detroit, how would you know it's racial profiling if they're 80% of the population? I don't think you do. Anyway, all right, moving on. And again, a lot of these are kind of in random order. Oh, did you see this over the week? So there was a viral video on social media of a police officer supposedly planting evidence on some people in a car at this traffic stop, right? Well, now we're getting the rest of the story as we learn. In fact, I saw this somewhere else, but I happened to find this Daily Caller article. False story spreads on social media of white police officer planting evidence in a black man's car at a traffic stop. A video of a traffic stop conducted last Wednesday by the Village of Caledonia Police Department in Caledonia, Wisconsin, went viral over the weekend due to allegations from users on social media that the officer planted a drug baggie on the back seat. However, the footage was left out of the clip. Video filmed and posted to Facebook by a user who calls himself La Savu shows the police officer approaching the vehicle before throwing a baggie onto the seat. "I got you on camera. You just threw that in there," the individual says to the officer, who replies, "I got you on camera. We're all good." The video was later posted on Twitter, where it was amassed over 6 million views and 64,000 retweets, amplified by public figures such as former NBA player Rex Chapman and television host W. Kamau Bell. News outlets such as TMZ and the New York Daily News also quickly picked up the story. So here's the video. And that's by this guy, and then Rex Chapman's the former Kentucky basketball player, and I think he played a couple years in the NBA, but he's Mr. Woke, Mr. Wokey woke white boy. I shouldn't use that type of terminology. It makes me sound like I'm what's that word?
Sounds racist!
No, I'm not. Black people can't be racist, remember? Anyway, here's the video. You'll see this, and it says cop. And he names it "Cop Caught in 4K Planting Evidence." Here's the video. Oh, maybe that's the Daily Caller is going to pop open like this. We'll show you the video as soon as it loads here. Here we go. Cop caught in 4K planting evidence. Here's the video.
Hey, bro, what's that?
What's what?
That you just threw in here.
What's what word?
I got you on camera, bro.
I got you on camera. We're all good. Hey, bro, you just threw that in here. Yeah.
And now notice he cuts it off right
bro,
there.
What's that?
What's what?
That you just threw in here.
What's what word?
I got you on camera, bro.
I got you on camera. We're all good. Hey, bro, you just threw that in here. Yeah.
Now notice the officer's saying, "Yeah." He's acknowledging that he just threw it in there. In fact, notice as he does it, he's not wearing gloves when he throws it in there either. See? He's not wearing gloves, and he puts on gloves later, right? Now, there's a reason for that. Now, it does look bad. And then again, W. Kamala, I said it on United Shades of America, and I'll say it again. defund the shit out of this, because this is America, according to Cashapp. The narrative, however, quickly fell apart when the police officer's body cam footage was released, showing the rest of the exchange that was left out of the video. The video shows the officer on the scene handing the plastic bag to his partner, which was found in the pocket of one of the car's other passengers. This is the baggie that was then discarded in the back seat of the car. It was in the pocket, and I didn't want to hold on to it. It's on their body cam that they took it off of him, the officer says the man to the man filming, which was not included in the cell phone video. That's what he was saying. Yes, we took this from your boy. We're putting it in the car. Also, there's the other factor that these guys weren't arrested for drugs. They weren't even, in fact, they were let go after the traffic stop. But anyway, it was in the pocket, and I don't want to hold on to it. It's on their body cam that they took it off of him. The officer says the man filming. Oh, I said that. Now here's let's show this is the police officer's body cam footage. All right, here it is. Because they did let these guys go without any violation or anything. And I can't remember what they stopped them for. But anyway, so here's the body cam footage. This. All right, so there it is. He's taking the.
I got specks of green. You're good to search if you need to.
I'm not sure why they searched him.
Corner cut.
Now listen to his answer when this guy talks to him.
What's what? What word?
I got you on camera, bro.
I got you on camera. We're all good. Hey, bro, you just threw that in here. Yeah, because it was in his pocket, and I don't want to hold on to it. That's on their body cam that they took it off of him, so.
You just threw that in here, bro. I got you on camera, man.
I'm telling you where it came from, so.
I got you on camera, bro.
It's an empty baggie at the moment, too, so. Okay, buddy.
Yeah, so it's empty. I would imagine if this was real evidence, they probably wouldn't have thrown it back in the car. I'm just saying. They would have put it into evidence, but it's an empty baggie too. So anyway, so that was the part that the guy didn't cut off. He cut off the answer. So, but did it go viral over the weekend. Anyway, in the end, a citation was issued to the driver of the car for speeding, and no arrests were made. Caledonia police later issued a lengthy statement on Facebook responding to the backlash on social media, in which the chief of police, Christopher Botch, debunked the misinformation while criticizing the officer for putting the baggie in the back seat. On 7/21/21, about 3:22 p.m., officers conducted a traffic stop for a vehicle traveling 63 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. The Post explained the vehicle was occupied by a driver along with front and rear passengers. The driver identified by her driver's license. The front passenger lawfully declined to identify himself. The rear passengers were not wearing seatbelts and were asked to identify themselves. The empty corner tear was turned over by the searching officer to another officer who was on the scene. That officer turned it over to the officer who was seen in the video. Since there were no drugs in the corner tear is a type of plastic bag, by the way, the officers discarded the empty packaging material in the vehicle. This is what was observed in the video. The statement continued. While we would discourage officers from discarding items into a citizen's vehicle, the video is clear that the officer is not planting evidence or doing anything illegal. Additionally, the empty corner tear is not itself illegal. No arrests were remade as a result of the incident. The only arrest citation arising from this incident was a speeding citation issued to the driver. So that was the conclusion of the statement. Anyway. Let's see. Unless he was worried it would blow away, but even so, putting it in the car was probably not a smart move given the climate. Yeah, you are correct. Probably not the smartest move, but still. Hello, C-Tron, by the way. Good morning, Spud Gun. Nice to have you all here. And I think I'm caught up. All right, let's moving on. What did I have? Oh, this was just, I'll leave the, let's see. I'll leave that video available to you. Also, we'll, let's open up Ian Miles Chong, his version too, so that you have all the videos from Twitter. If you want to see those in more detail, you can pick those up. All right, let's keep going here because I'm 10:05. I'm doing okay. 9:05 for some of you, 11:05 for some of you, and some of you in other lands that it's way, way, way different. Anyway, lots of protests over the weekend over the virus from the country of origin that shall not be named. World has had it with the flu lockdowns. Protests rock city all over the globe. People across the globe are standing up and fighting against the flu lockdowns and mandates. Stab mandates. A mere 477 days since we were told we need only 15 days to flatten the curve. We're not gonna take it. Anyway, anti-riot cops clashed with protesters in central Paris using tear gas to break up angry mobs that are tired of useless lockdowns, immunity passports, and a possible forced vaccination plan for healthcare workers. Over 100,000 people took to the streets to show their disdain for the stupid 19 restrictions, including stupid 19 free letters allowing them to enter restaurants and theaters. So it's not just the right wing in the United States protesting the vaccinations and the lockdowns and the vaccine passports and all that shit. It's all over the world. What's that song? You're Not Alone. What's that song? Something about You're Not Alone. Anyway, we're not alone. It's happening all over the world. People are singing this shit. More than 100,000 people across France marched to protest against President Emmanuel Macron's plan to force stabs for healthcare workers and require stupid 19 free certificates to enter places like restaurants and movie theaters. So no vaccine passports, non our passports sanitaire. I don't know if I said that right, but anyway. In a separate protest in Western Paris, demonstrators opposed antivirus mandates and carried banners reading "Stop the Dictatorship." Further protests in France are also planned in other cities, including Marseille, Montpellier, Nantes, and Toulouse. If I said that right, I don't know. Also in Australia, thousands of angry Australians swarmed the streets of Sydney and Melbourne to protest the current month-long lockdown. Now in Australia, any Australians in the house right now? I'm not sure. They had some serious, just draconian lockdowns. Well, big protests in Sydney against the government put Greater Sydney back into a week-long Wuhan-style lockdown of all non-essential activities following one stupid 19 death, and discussed deploying the military to hotspots to keep people from leaving. Yeah, I mean, they're doing this over they had a new lockdown over one stupid 19 death. Probably someone in their 80s. I'm not sure what life expectancy is in Australia, but I'm pretty sure it's probably somewhere around 80. Anyway, angry protesters banged heads with mounted police, even showering them with debris. Protesters clashed with police during anti-lockdown protests in Sydney, Australia. Also in Detroit, protesters hit the bricks all over Detroit to oppose mandatory stabs for all hospital workers. Rallies were held in the Motor City as well as nearby Clinton Township, West Bloomfield, and Wyandotte. Protesters in Grand Rapids lined up outside a hospital to express their anger over the mandate. Many have carried signs, one of which said, "My body, my choice," wiping the pro-choice crowd's mantra. Now that's in Detroit. Detroit is 80%. There's a lot of, the brothers are a little bit skeptical of the stabs. Also in Ireland, they had it. Marches in Dublin and Belfast let their voices be heard after lawmakers passed legislation stating that only vaccinated and stupid 19 free people could dine and drink outdoors. Ireland, take a bow. We'll take a look at this one. This is protest in Dublin. Lots of people protesting there. In Italy, leaders passed a law stating that Italian citizens must present a green pass to enter a restaurant, theater, museum, indoor swimming pools, and sports stadiums. The pass signifies that the holder has either gotten the vax, had a recent negative stupid 19 test, or had the stupid 19 already. Italians aren't having it and are protesting around their country. So this is in Italy. Now, they're saying no green pass in English. I wonder why they're saying it in English. But anyway, no green pass. And in the UK, anarchy. The Brits, usually quite left-leaning and very properly politically correct, have jumped onto the anti-stab wagon. Thousands poured into the streets of London and Manchester after Boris Johnson stated that one would need a vaccine passport to enter a nightclub. Oh, don't mess with the nightclub goers. They will whoop your ass. These protests come immediately after all other stupid 19 restrictions have been lifted. So they've lifted all the other restrictions, but you need a pass to go into the nightclubs. Let's see, just in, a large number of people holding anti-lockdown protests in Westminster, London, even after England lifts all stupid 19 restrictions. Can't really tell the scale here. This doesn't look as big, but it is, I guess. Just having them protest at all is pretty crazy. Enziker, how you doing? What's up? When does the Australian government release trained anti-rat emus into the streets? That's a good question. And, I don't know. Clearly, the vaccine passports are not the way to go for many, and people across the world are letting their elected leaders know exactly how they feel. Let's see if the message is heard. Well, I don't know, man. I think the U.S. is leaning more and more towards it instead of away from it. I don't know. It just seems like it. St. Louis to require masks indoors again, regardless of stab status, according to the state attorney general to file a lawsuit. St. Louis, Missouri, and St. Louis County will be requiring people ages 5 and up to wear face masks indoors again starting on Monday. According to Fox News, officials said Friday that the mandate applies to people regardless of their vaccination status and is being put in place while the Delta variant spreads in the area. New orders, a response to the resurgence of stupid 19 cases and pleas from area hospital officials will require most people, both stabbed and unstabbed, to wear masks in indoor public spaces and public transportation. People in the city and the county will also be urged but not required to wear masks outdoors, especially in groups. The mask outdoor thing, have they not paid attention to the CDC on this? Why are they asking people to wear masks outdoors? Have they not paid attention? Seriously. We've lost more than 500 St. Louisans to stupid 19, and if our region doesn't work together to protect one another, we could see spikes that overwhelm our hospitals and public health systems. Dr. Frederick Eccles, acting director of health for the city of St. Louis, said Friday. On Friday, there were 266 new cases. So let's see. Let me do some math here. With the average positivity rate of 98.8. Okay, let me do some quick math. Let me get out the old calculator here. So 266 more cases times 99.99997% equals. So you could theoretically lose a couple of people. I don't know. Good Lord. Thank you, Baby Vazo, for sponsoring the show. And by the way, Baby Vazo. Oh, no. Chicago Mike, I never gave you one of these.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Or did it? That was for Chicago Mike, by the way. Good morning. Thank you, Baby Vazo, for the 333. Forgive my asking again, but is there a reason behind the Game Boy, or is it just an aesthetic choice? No, so I changed my graphics around, maybe every 6 months to a year. And I ended up really liking this particular graphic, and I was just looking for things that had screens to keep it interesting. So there's no particular reason. Although I do remember when I bought my son the first Game Boy Color when they came out, I'm much older than that technology, but it's just an interesting way to put things on the screen with little screens and stuff. Same with the phone. I originally had a Note 8 on the screen for the phone for the chat, and this is I think might be an S10 or something like that. But no, just to have some interesting stuff on the screen. So it's no particular reason. Thank you for asking, though. That's a very interesting question. I appreciate it. All right. So anyway, Dr. Faisal Khan is the acting director of the St. Louis County Department of Public Health. Khan reportedly said that the stabs are the best way to stop the fast-spreading Delta variant of COVID-19. We are relentlessly committed to making stabs more accessible and convenient, Dr. Khan said Friday. In the meantime, we need everyone, stupid or not, or stabbed or not, to wear masks in crowded indoor settings. So, give me a break. Anyway, people in St. Louis are not happy about this, though. And there are, Wildwood Mayor Jim Bolin pledged to stop the mandate, saying he would use his own executive action to prevent enforcement of the mandate. The large West St. Louis County suburb, his executive action will also allow businesses and other gathering places to use parking lots and other adjacent spaces to do business to accommodate people without masks outside, he said on Facebook. Anyway, everyone's... lots of people are fighting this, but so St. Louis is going back to mask mandates. Great. Interesting. All right, let's move on. Biden and apparently Mark Kelly, you know who Mark Kelly is? Isn't he a senator from Arizona? Or I know he ran for senator. Did he ever officially become senator? Anyway, they worked with an intel firm hired to smear Harvey Weinstein's accuser. Okay, the disgraced mogul's legal team hired K2 Intelligence to discredit rape allegations. What? The campaigns for President Joe Biden and Senator Mark Kelly hired the private intelligence firm that Harvey Weinstein's legal team tapped to investigate and smear a woman who accused the disgraced Hollywood mogul of sexual assault. All right, I'm just curious. I pulled this article because I read it wrong, and I'm not sure if this is they're trying to do a guilt by association thing here, but let's just go through it quickly, okay? Biden's campaign paid $7,728 to K2 Intelligence in November and December, according to the Federal Election Commission records. Kelly's campaign paid K2 more than $314,000 for security in 4 installments from the December to March of this year. Records show the Kelly campaign told Washington Free Beacon that it hired K2 to provide security for Kelly and his wife, former Representative Gabby Giffords, but that it no longer employs the firm and does not go into detail regarding the couple's physical security. It's not clear from the filing what services K2 provided Biden, but the payments could provide fodder to Republicans, given the firm's controversial work for Weinstein. Kelly, a former astronaut, faces re-election next year. Organizers like the New York Times have cut ties with lawyers who worked for Weinstein to smear his victims. The paper terminated its relationship with the Weinstein lawyer and top Democratic lawyer David Boies in November 2017, following revelations that he hired another company, or he hired another company, Black Cube, to spy on Weinstein accusers. This could make some political fodder, but I think that here's the thing. Law firms, security companies do a lot of different things for people. They could be doing campaign research. I don't like this kind of story. So I unfortunately I read it wrong, and I will highlight that this is one of those things that I don't like about politics. Yes, they used the same company. Did they use them for different things? Did they use this company for nefarious things? If they didn't, then I don't care. But, all's fair in love and politics. Good morning, fight for your rights, by the way. Moving on, another one from illegal insurrection. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitler is stripped of emergency powers. Perfect. It's about time. Meanwhile, she sends letters of gratitude to small businesses across the state. Well, I hope they are still there, because you know how that worked in Michigan. They killed a lot of small businesses. Anyway, back in California, the recall election has effectively stripped Gavin Newsom of his stupid 19 emergency powers. There are no more daily COVID briefings, no state mandates. In contrast, the Michigan legislature has more directly removed these powers from Governor Gretchen Whitmer yet again. That's a good thing. In a rebuke of Gretchen Whitmer, the Republican-led Michigan State House of Representatives repealed a 76-year-old law that gave the governor broad emergency powers used to lock down much of the state during the stupid 19 pandemic. In a 60-48 vote, mainly along party lines, the Emergency Powers Act of 1945 was officially scuttled. The state Senate already voted to kill the act last week. Though the legislation does not take effect immediately, it was a clear shot at Whitmer, whose strict shutdown policy stirred protests last year, but also made her a political darling among Democrats. So let's see. The 1945 Emergency Powers Law came to the state legislature via petition drive. Therefore, under Michigan law, it cannot be vetoed by Whitmer and will go into effect 90 days after the legislative session. Oh, so that's okay. So the removal of the law, I was trying to think, well, what does that have to do with the repeal of it? But because it became to the legislature via petition, she can't veto it. Conservatives will still be busy dealing with Whitmer's antics a while longer. A conservative group that organized the ballot drive next plans to target a public health law that enabled Whitmer's administration to keep intact capacity restrictions and mask requirements for 8 additional months until voluntarily lifting them in June after infections subsided amid vaccinations. So they're going to try to get rid of that too. Well, good. They need to the governor having unlimited power in certain situations, it can be scary because you can pretty much call anything an emergency, right? Isn't climate an emergency? I think so. Anyway, moving on to the District of Columbia, the Department of Justice. This is very annoying. So they're not going to be prosecuting some of these blue states where they sent people to nursing homes and people died. DOJ letting blue states skate for nursing home stupid 19 deaths. If you need any further proof that our justice system has been completely politicized, you're in luck. As of January 6th, rioters languish in solitary confinement with no trial. The Department of Justice has announced that it will not investigate stupid 19 deaths in nursing homes in some states. Blue states, naturally. Gretchen Whitmer is getting a pass. Jeremy Beeman writes at the Washington Examiner. Justice Department has declined to open civil rights investigation into Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer's policies for nursing homes during the stupid 19 pandemic. Michigan was one of the 4 states the Trump-era Justice Department sought data from on suspicion that policies for care homes imposed early during the health crisis may have been responsible for the deaths of thousands of seniors in violations of the Civil Rights of Institutionalized Persons Act. Oh, you think? You think? Andrew Cuomo, Gretchen Whitmer were the 2 worst, as was the governor of New Jersey. We have reviewed the information you provided along with the additional information available to the department. Based on that review, we have decided not to open a CRIPA, which is the Civil Rights of Institutionalized Persons Act, investigation of any public nursing facility within Michigan at this time. Steve Rosenbaum, the chief of the department's special litigation section, wrote in a letter to Whitmer's office on Thursday. Oh, isn't that nice? There's a courtesy call. Same goes for Governor Tom Wolf, because Pennsylvania was pretty bad too. Yes, I know how I've seen how many news links I have to go through there, Gunbox. I'm working on that a little bit today. Anyway, so they also said they're not going to check out Pennsylvania. Cuomo, New York, nope, no DOJ investigation. Now here's Steve Scalise's response to all this. That's Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York. They're not going to investigate it. Steve Scalise says the DOJ says, okay. Where is it? I'm sorry. Where is the justice for nursing home victims and their grieving families? Republican Whip and Select Subcommittee on the Stupid 19 crisis ranking member Steve Scalise today blasted the Department of Justice refusal to investigate deadly mandates in New York, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, sending Stupid 19 patients into nursing homes and long-term care facilities, resulting in the unnecessary deaths of thousands of seniors. Quote, "It is outrageous that the Department of Justice refuses to investigate the deadly must-admit orders issued by governors in New York, Pennsylvania, and Michigan that resulted in the deaths of thousands of senior citizens. Where is the justice for nursing home victims and their grieving families? These deadly orders contradicted the CDC's guidance and needlessly endangered the most vulnerable among us to the deadly Stupid 19 virus. Even worse, Governor Cuomo in New York intentionally tried to cover up the true death toll resulting from his mandate. Grieving families deserve answers and accountability. It's unconscionable that the Biden Department of Justice refuses to investigate the deadly actions that went against the CDC's medical guidance taken in these states." But yeah, Merrick Garland, I was going to say future, past nominee to the Supreme Court, Merrick Garland, who's now runs the Justice Department. Yeah. He's nothing more than a hatchet man for the Democratic Party, passing out indulgences or jail sentences based on party affiliation. Yeah, he's a partisan, seems to be a partisan hack. We'll see if that continues throughout his tenure as the Attorney General. Also, speaking of Andrew Cuomo, he continues his underhanded attacks on his investigators. How about that? Assembly Judiciary Committee Chair Charles Levine actually slapped Rich Azzopardi, Governor Cuomo's loyal spokesthug, for bad-mouthing State Attorney General Tish James, who's overseeing a key investigation into the many sexual harassment claims against the governor. Levine, Democrat from Long Island, is overseeing the Assembly's own incredibly slow-moving impeachment probe of Cuomo over the sex stuff, as well as the cover-up of nursing home deaths while the governor was negotiating his $5 million book deal. So it was entirely appropriate for him to write Azzopardi to put him officially on notice again of potential severe repercussions. Specifically, Levine moved after Azzopardi tweeted that James says she may run against the governor, as the spokesman sought to downplay the Post report that Transport Workers Union International President John Samuelson says he's over Cuomo. All right, let's just make this quick. He's basically making claims and let's see, throwing mud at some of these politicians who are planning on, and these are fellow Democrats that are investigating him and as a possible impeachment inquiry regarding his, his possible picadillos and his killing old people. So good, that's a good thing. Maybe they should just keep on his ass. Good morning, Sydney. Good morning, T-Ball. Nice to see you in the chat this morning. Also, I said BoschTube earlier and Fight for Your Rights, saying I'm caught up. How are we doing today? By the way, this Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, 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 if you haven't done so, hit the like button. Where are we at here? We got 34 people in the house, 28 likes. We're doing good. That's a good ratio. Also, if you're watching on a replay, put a comment in the comment section. Please share the stream, even before, during, after. Share the stream because that helps no matter what. And then you guys know how to sponsor the show, YouTube Super Chats or Streamlabs at PDawgKnight.live. All right, sex crimes equals boomer murders. Boomer murders now? I'm not sure what that means. Did I miss something? Did I say something like that? I don't know. All right, let's we got to wrap it up here. A new poll out. America's optimism of the country's direction seems to have fallen by 20 points. Months into Biden's presidency, Americans' optimism regarding the direction of the country has dropped nearly 20 points, according to a recent ABC News poll. 55% of the public say they are pessimistic about the direction of the country, and a marked change from the roughly one-third that said the same in a poll published May 2nd. In the early May survey, Americans were more optimistic than pessimistic by a 28% point margin. Optimism is now underwater by 10 points. Looking ahead, to the next 12 months, fewer than half, 45%, now report feeling optimistic about the way things are going, a significant drop from about 2/3 in the May poll. Well, the decrease in optimism has occurred among Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Well, when the gas prices go up, optimism goes down, and we keep hearing about how everything's costing more because it is. Every time you go to the store, your bill is a little more. Not a surprise. So anyway, also, Gavin, another poll, Gavin Newsom's not looking good. I'm shocked that Larry Elder is leading the race to replace Newsom if the recall is successful. I like Larry Elder, but I'm not getting why he's leading out there, but probably strictly from name recognition and the number of people that run. So he's a leading candidate out of a lot of candidates, but I don't know. Well, let's see. So Gavin Newsom being recalled. Let's see here. Thank you, Baby Vazo. Hey, P-Dawg, did you go by a different username when you started interneting, or have you always used P-Dawg Knight? Does the P stand for something? Well, that's a good story. I'll tell that at the end of the show. But no, I used to do a blog called You Know I'm Right. By the way, thank you, Baby Vazo. And Baby Vazo,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you so much. And I also have Marty's Big Journey, which was kind of just a thing about my adoption story. And but P-Dawg Knight, ever since I've been on YouTube, P-Dawg Knight, P stands for Prince, and there's a long story behind that, which actually, let's see, I'll put a link to that. I should probably put a link to that in my profile or something. We'll tell the Prince story again sometime, but yes, there's a whole thing about that with my adoption. So thanks for asking. I appreciate you. Okay. Now, what was I at here? Oh, yeah, not good for Gavin Newsom. The biggest red flag for Newsom was this poll's question. Regardless of the recall effort, would you vote to re-elect Governor Newsom in 2022, or do you think it's time for someone new, in which a whopping 58% of voters wanted someone new, while only 42% were happy with Newsom? He suggested the governor could be in serious danger in 2022 if his opponent is a Democrat, independent with enough name recognition, or a Republican not closely tied to former President Donald Trump and the National Republican Party. Newsom has blanketed the airwaves with ads comparing the recall to the January 6th riots. Shut up. Are you kidding me? Other warning signs for Newsom, who had 49% approval rating and a 42% disapproval rating in the poll, include lackluster marks in his handling of the wildfires and the drought, which could be more salient issues just ahead of the recall election September 14th. Newsom previously overstated the amount of the wildfire prevention efforts the state has undertaken and has not ruled out mandatory water use restrictions. Let's see. You can read the rest if you want, but interesting that Elder seems to lead. Well, yeah, here it is. The new exclusive statewide poll of more than 1,000 registered voters, which has a margin of error of negative 2.9%, plus or minus 2.9%, asked respondents who they would vote for to replace Governor Newsom. Elder led the pack with 16%, with John Cox and Kevin Faulconer trailing behind at 6%. So that means nothing to me. That does not mean Larry Elder's he's just, when you say 16% of all the people that people are voting for, that really doesn't mean anything. That's what I thought. Anyway. All right. Other stories that'll be in the links, but I'm not going to be able to get to completely. Biden's approval rating has dropped significantly. Gallup tries to explain the drop. A new rating from the July 6, 20 to 21 Gallup poll, which also finds that 45% of U.S. adults disapprove of Biden's performance and 5% do not have an opinion. It comes at a time when the U.S. progress in fighting stupid 19 has stalled, with vaccination rates slowing and case levels now rising. Yes, that's why his approval ratings go down. Everyone thinks because U.S. vaccination rates are slowing and case levels are rising. That is, how about this is Gallup, so they have to spin it. The economic recovery continues with unemployment declining, stock market values near record highs, but consumers are paying higher prices for gas and other goods. Yeah, other goods like everything. Biden has also struggled to deliver on his promise of greater bipartisanship although negotiations on an infrastructure bill continue in the Senate. Give me a break. Anyway, so Biden's approval ratings are down. Also, thank you, GunFox61 with a deuce said calling it Newsom will win with help from the mail-in ballots and vote counters. Newsom will still win the recall, but I don't think he's going to make it through 2022. I think that will be more serious. Thank you, GunFox61, for sponsoring the show. Here's a great one. U.S. prosecutors dropped Chinese researcher's visa fraud case on the eve of the trial. Wan Tong is now on her way back home to China as average Americans begin questioning the priorities of American law enforcement officials. So again, they have people in solitary confinement for misdemeanor crimes on the insurrection, and but they're letting this person go who has probably a Chinese spy. Let's see, Harvard University of California Davis researcher who had fled the Chinese consulate in San Francisco after allegedly lying to investigators about her Chinese military service was arrested. In July, it appears that with a different administration, there are different priorities. U.S. prosecutors are dropping their case against Wan Tong, the researcher accused of concealing her ties to the Chinese military on a visa application so she could work in the country. Yeah, former Chinese military, working in the academic setting. Anyway, you can read about that in the tabs. Also, let's see, what was this one? Did you see that there was a heckler at a Montana fishing tackle store or something like that, and Tucker kind of laughed at him, but this was here's the video. Maybe. I
don't care, man. Dude, you are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know that what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world, I don't care that your daughter's here. What you've done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this world. Son. Don't call me son.
So he says, settle down, son. Anyway, so a guy heckled Carlson. Apparently, though, he's not just some rando. There's an article here about a little bit about the guy. The man who accosted Tucker Carlson has an interesting background if you want to read about that in the American Thinker. Also in the tabs, Twitter's growing at its fastest level since 2014. Interesting. Of course, I got to figure that all those people that they deleted their bots and deleted all the extra accounts. Maybe they're just re-upping their accounts. I don't know. Twitter's revenue also grew 74% year over year in the quarter, according to a shareholder letter, with the company citing a broad increase in advertising demand. In the prior quarter, revenue had risen 28%. Growth accelerated as the company lapped a quarter when revenue declined by almost 19%, resulting in the strongest growth since 2014. After a $1.38 billion loss in the year-ago quarter, on Thursday, Twitter showed a $65.6 million profit. Well, that's... they went from a $1.38 billion with a B loss, and this time they have a $65.6 million with an M dollar profit. Whoosh. With respect to guidance, Twitter said it sees $1.22 billion to $1.3 billion third quarter revenue. Analysts, well, revenue and profit are two different things, or revenue and loss are different things. They lost $1.38 billion in the third quarter a year ago. Holy shiite, Batman. Anyway, so they're having growth. I don't know. And then, of course, Dorsey donates all his money to left-wing causes. But anyway, it's interesting. You read that article. In the New York Post today, apparently some priest that was out proves your data is not as anonymous as big tech promises. The exchange for our increasingly digital lives, Americans have turned over reams of data on our location, activity, preferences, and even conversations. Tech firms track, store, and sell that data back to us in the form of digital advertising and convenience. But what else could be done with all that data, including what it reveals about our intimate lives? Last week gave a chilling answer to that question. An obscure newsletter called The Pillar used an anonymous geolocation data collected from the gay dating app Grindr to locate, identify, and track out a Catholic priest. Monsignor Jeffrey Burrow resigned his post as the General Secretary of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops in the wake of this reporting. The affair sheds light on the largely lawless realm of data brokerage, where a person's minute individual details can be bought, sold, and repackaged, and de-anonymized by private actors for various ends, including, as we learned this week, vengeful ones. It also illuminated a disconcerting reality of life in the digital age. Americans now live twice, simultaneously in the fleeting present and in the permanent digitalized echo we create. It's an interesting article on how all this social media can be a problem for you, and how your privacy concerns probably are, well, let's just say we're all fucked. So that's why I don't really disguise a lot of my stuff, because if people already found me or really wanted to, they can find me, I suppose. Anyway, also from PJ Media, PolitiFact claims that Biden doesn't want to ban handguns, but here's some words he's used that shows he does or is willing to try to restrict handguns. If you're interested in that article, if you're a 2A guy. And then the last two: after a half century, Israeli victims of the Munich Olympic massacre were honored at the Tokyo opening ceremony, which was, you can watch that. I think do they have video of it here? Yeah, they do. They had a moment of silence for because that, if you, in 1972 Olympics, terrorists boarded a plane that has Israeli athletes. Turned out to be quite the fiasco. It was, I mean, we're watching live. They had live footage of the plane and things like that when I was a kid, and so good. They did a special moment of silence for those victims. Good for them. That's a great article. Speaking of the Olympics, by the way, WNBA players have decided not to protest during the national anthem at the Olympics. Well, we'll get to see if they have a chance. If they have the same kind of luck that the men's team has, they may not even get to hear the national anthem at the Olympics. We'll see. They've been protesting racism all season by leaving the court during the national anthem, say they have decided not to continue their demonstration during the Olympics and will remain on the court during the Star-Spangled Banner, if it ever plays for them. Team captain Sue Bird, who is engaged to United States women's soccer star and woke icon Megan Rapinoe, reportedly defended the decision to the media, claiming that the move was not hypocritical because she and her teammates were playing for Team USA, not individual cities. Well, we're wearing USA jerseys, and it does change the conversation a little bit and what you're representing, Bird told the Associated Press. So good for her. At least they have somewhat of a brain. And then the last one here is just about the men's basketball team. Maybe woke, but they can't beat France at the Olympics. I'm surprised that the French did not forfeit the game, but they didn't. They had a 16-2 run to finish the game and beat their ass. So I don't even know who's playing for the Americans right now. They lost to Nigeria in like what you'd call a friendly. And then now they lost to Australia. And who the hell's playing for the men's team. I mean, I know Steph Curry's not playing. I know LeBron James is not playing. Our best players aren't all playing. Let's put it that way. Is Durant playing? The American team is full of offensive stars like Kevin Durant, Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, and Draymond Green. No, Draymond Green is not an offensive star. He is a defensive nightmare for most players. But Durant's playing. France was led by Evan Fournier, a French national who plays for the Celtics. Fournier put his finger on the reason the U.S. didn't win against a vastly inferior team. He said after beating USA basketball in the Tokyo Olympic opener, they are better individually, but they can be beaten as a team. Yeah, they don't spend a lot of time gelling, so to speak. But you would think that the American stars could keep up, but they can't. So it is what it is. So this is in pool play right now. If they don't get out of pool play, they may be in trouble. They had exhibition losses in Nigeria and Australia. And Australia has always been a pretty big-time basketball powerhouse, as has Brazil. France has had decent teams. Germany's had great teams. Croatia, the Czech Republic's had good teams. The international teams have caught up. Let's just put it that way. I think the dream team from was it 96 Olympics really got, or was it 92? No, the 92 Olympics, excuse me. Really got basketball into the forefront around the world. And I was watching a video of a guy going to play in playgrounds in China. And there's some hoopers in those playgrounds in China. It's amazing. So anyway, that's going to be it for today on the Morning Night Live. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, please hit the like button before you go. Also share the stream. And hi, Infamous One, I see you there. Also, if you would be so kind to leave a comment in the comment section before, during, or after the show, whether you're watching replay or watching live, or if you have to go back to watch the beginning. And sponsor the show if you are able. And if you're not able, that's cool too, because I'm just glad you're here. So that's got to be it for today, people. Time for me to go, because I got other things to do, as I do every Monday through Friday. So thanks for being here. I got to go. My name's PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.